Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lucy Davis and it is my absolute pleasure to host you for this video, which is probably going to spark a lot of attention, let's be honest about it. So this is part two. I don't know, 7-8 months ago, I filmed Let's Talk About Sex, Baby. And due to personal experiences of what's been going on over the last couple of months, I have decided to do a Let's Talk About Sex part two. Now, very much I'm going to be speaking about flirting. Very much I'm going to be speaking about sexting. And also I'm going to be speaking very much about, what people are sharing on their social media and just sex generally. Okay, so first and foremost, if you have little ears around you, you might want to close the door. You might want to put some headphones in. Just prepare yourselves. Like I haven't got going yet. There may be some things I don't know. I haven't planned this, so I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I would imagine I'm going to be extremely vulnerable with you, and I'm going to share some personal things that have been happening from my side, and I don't question that this is going to trigger people. If you have not watched Let's Talk About Sex, Baby, I'm going to post it somewhere up here, wherever YouTube puts it. I'm going to put it up here somewhere. Okay. I would really recommend that you go and watch that video, because I'm not going to go into too much detail about what I have previously spoken in there, but I'm just going to give you a quick recap. In that video, I spoke very much about how sacred sex is and how it had been inverted, a bit like love, a bit like, just every single subject that you can think of. It's all been inverted. It's all been manipulated. So why would sex be anything different? And actually, if you stop and look at what's going on around us, sex is a huge, huge area. It's how they dangle the carrot with most people. I'm not going to give specific names because I'll probably get banned from YouTube for it. But look at some of the celebrities that are coming out that are, dressed in a certain way and maybe doing certain things and showing, like men coming out with babies and things like that. And I don't mean adopting babies, I mean pregnant. Okay. So it's very important that we just start to tap in. This is all about inverting sex. It's all about the inversion, but I'm not going to go there today. I did that kind of in the previous video, so I'm not going to go there today. And also, I quite like my YouTube channel. I'm hoping that it's going to stick around, although they have blocked me recently. I don't know why, but they have done. So, ladies and gents, let's talk about sex. Okay, let's talk about sexting. Let's talk about flirting. Let's talk about the old mentality. So I'm actually going to start with social media. If any of you guys follow me on social media, I will pop all of my links in the description. So if you want to follow me on social media, please go and do that. Now, if any of you already do, you will know I often post pictures of me doing handstands, headstands, the splits, you name it, all sorts of things, horse riding, because that's my life. That's my life. That's how I raise my consciousness. So of course I'm going to share it with people. And what happens every now and again is I get some really, really low vibrational comment. Oh, look at the position of you. Oh, I'd like to be in that angle with you. And the interesting thing about it is some of the people that do it are, what they would call conscious. It's a very interesting dynamic that people believe that they can message somebody that is in the gym or on a horse or whatever and be provocative about it. Now, when you know that the sacred exchange of a man and a woman or a woman and a woman or whatever your preference is, like it's completely irrelevant to me, whatever your exchange where sex is concerned is sacred. Now, some of you might be like, oh my God, why is she not open to a bit of banter? And I am open to a lot of banter. However, I have drawn a line where sex is concerned. And I have made a decision that I deserve better than the way that I've previously been treated. And the way that I've previously expected to be treated and the way that I've brought on it myself. So please recognize that I'm owning that. I used to like people that would be cheeky and pinch my ass and have a little banter with me, but now I'm like, nah, that's not me anymore. I would like somebody to get to know me. I would like to get to know somebody else. I would like to, you know, at least have a flirty conversation before somebody starts telling me that they want to see me bent over or something. But you guys need to set your own standards, which is why I chose to do this video today. There was a massive trigger point for me, which is why I really chose to do this video about a week ago now, and I'll get to that in a minute. But very much what people are posting on their social media is their own goddamn business. If you get turned on by it, you don't need to go and share with that person that you're finding it, you know, exciting in your pants. Like, we really need to get a grip. People don't, like, I don't want to hear that. Like, you might find me attractive. You might find the guy with his top off attractive, you know, and like, each to their own, whatever. However, always find out if somebody is in that place to be receiving that comment. You can be cheeky with somebody without making it sexual. Trust me. And again, this is how people, men and women, please don't think this is just a one-sided argument. Men, women, especially the younger adults, they think they have to be crude, or they think they have to throw in something sexual to get somebody's attention. Now, at my ripe old age, if somebody throws something in sexual and I've never had that kind of interaction with them, they get blocked. If I've been on a date with somebody, if I've been chatting to somebody for a while and we've spoken on the phone and it's got a bit flirty and we've, you know, whatever, even then I probably wouldn't expect them to be like, oh, I'd like to see you in that position. Different when you've kind of like allowed that interaction to take place. But again, this is about standards. And this is why so many people have been promiscuous, myself included in that. But now I choose not to be. I've got standards. And I'm not going to let those standards slip, because the demonic energy knows that most of us will give in over sex, because it gives us attention. It makes us feel loved, you know, for that moment of, you know, if you have an orgasm, my girls will understand what I mean by that. But, you know, men can release a lot easier normally than women. And so, you know, once you've had that release, yeah, okay, that's great. But what next? And I know for myself, I would rather be with somebody that is going to look at sex as a really beautiful, sacred exchange like I do now. You know, and I'm being really open with you. I used to be very promiscuous. I used to be, you know, all of these naughty things. I used to love really, you know, crazy stuff. And now I'm like, no, I deserve to be treated with tender, loving care. I deserve somebody to, you know, work on me like I want to work on them, you know, and figure out what works for each other. Communicate about it. Speak about your fears where sex is concerned and things like that. So I've actually had a number of scenarios in the last week alone where men have actually messaged me off the back of my stories, whether I'm in yoga poses, whether I'm on horses, whether I'm like whatever, like, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. You're assuming, you're presupposing that the person that is doing this is doing it for your gratification. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Excuse my French, I told you to put headphones in. Like, who on earth do you think you are that this person is doing something that makes them feel good, but it's gratifying for you? When you actually start to recognize that not everything is about you, you'll start to realize that people deserve to be treated in the way and the manner that they expect to be treated in. I don't stand for it. I'm going to give you another example. You know, that's where social media is concerned. Okay, now let's talk about, you've met somebody. So recently I met somebody in a bar and he was blown away by me. Like, literally my girlfriends were laughing at me because he was just like, you know, straight over to me. And we spoke a couple of times on text, you know, like a few times back and forth, but not too much, because I'm not really one of those people that want to be texting back and forth constantly. Again, a massive shift from where I used to be. I like a good morning text if I'm dating somebody, but I know that they've got their life to lead. I know that they're going to see me or whatever. Like, you know, I don't want that insecure, oh my God, I need to speak to them every second of every day. Like, I'm happy to speak to them on the phone. I'm happy to, you know, message. Of course, I'm not going to be ignorant, but I don't want it to be, you know, I've got a career to do. I've got my soul mission to do as well. So, you know, I'm not one of those people. Anyway, this guy was obviously one of those people, and I'm not being rude about him at all. But on a couple of occasions, I put boundaries in place and I just said, hey, like, you know, I've got this going on. You know, I'll speak to you when I can. Doesn't mean you need to send me 10 messages. Just like, I'll get back to you when I can. And, you know, a lot of you are going to be like, she clearly wasn't into him. And maybe that was the case. And then he kind of started bombarding me and constantly calling me when I was doing videos and stuff. So again, I put a boundary in place. And I said, look, I'm going to Mexico. I'm not going to be able to see you before Mexico. When I get back from Mexico, you know, maybe I'll give you a call or something. But until then, can you just give me a bit of a break? You know, I've got a lot of work to do before I go. And the next thing I know is that I wake up to a picture of his penis about a few days later, a week later. Like, what? Who does that? I'll tell you who does that. It's the low vibrational frequency where sex is concerned. Oh, she's not responding to my words. She's not answering my calls. So I'm going to send her a picture of my penis because clearly that's going to work. And this is the old sexting. This is the old where people have had a couple of drinks and they get all confident and then they send pictures and then they feel ashamed the next day. I just blocked him. I won't be hearing from him again. I don't want that in my life. So what are your standards? Don't get me wrong. I love sex. You know, I was having a really good laugh with my girlfriends a couple of days ago, like, because I am extremely highly sexed. And I'm excited to be in a position, and I'm not talking a sexual position, to be in a position where I'm ready to be really intimate with somebody again. I'm excited for that because I know what's going on in my physical vessel now and how I feel about sex. Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be the best ever, you know, like, it's going to be amazing. So please don't think that I'm being prude or anything like that. I've set myself standards. Now, one of my really good friends, he'll know who I'm talking about when he watches this. One of my really good friends said to me, Lucy, you can't go out on dates with people and not have sex with them. And it just showed, right? It just showed where he was at. And I said to him, of course I can. If I'm not interested in somebody sexually, I'm not going to have sex with them. And this is the misfortunate thing. Like, when I was younger, you know, I would never have sex with somebody that I didn't find physically attractive, but it was all about physical attraction back then. Whereas now, I won't even go on a date with somebody unless somebody really stimulates me mentally and actually makes me think, God, I really want to sit and chat to this person for hours. Anybody that wants to compete, I'm not interested. But the reason I know all of this is I've been single since April 2017. Yes, I've done some dating since then, but by doing the dating and having, you know, a couple of experiences in that period of time, I know my standards. I know my standards and I have set my standards. And really interestingly, this is something else to keep your eyes open for as well. And it's just tick 222 as I'm doing this. Something else to keep your eyes open for. When you say to somebody, nope, and block this person, and I'm not tolerating that, and I'm not tolerating that, I guarantee you a blast from the past will come in. And they will, oh, I've missed you. I really want to see you. And that's when I use a few words that I'm not going to say on this video, but I use a few words and I say, not today, and I give the name, not today. And this is what's happened recently. So a guy from a couple of years ago has got back in touch. Oh, I really want to see you, blah, 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 blah. And actually, you know, it didn't make me feel good. It didn't make me feel good. And I saw a couple of stories and stuff, and I thought, oh my gosh, they haven't evolved at all. So bigger for you if you think that you can go back there. And that's the conversation that I had with myself. Yes, I could go back there and have sex. Brilliant. I could go back there and have sex. But do I really want to have sex with somebody that isn't in alignment with my values? Do I really want to have sex with somebody that isn't evolving at the way, not at the rate that I am, because that's unfair, but in the direction that you want to be evolving in? And this is about setting your standards. So many of us are embarrassed to put boundaries in place. We're embarrassed to put standards in place because, oh my God, maybe I'm being too picky. I've been told that loads in the last 4 years. Loads. Oh, maybe you're too picky. No, I'm waiting for the right person. Why on earth would I give my sovereignty? Why on earth would I give my sacred self to anybody unless they're going to treasure it? Unless they're going to treat themselves the way that I treat myself. And all of this boils down to self-love. And I'm not talking about masturbation. All of my old work colleagues, when I used to speak to them, say, oh yeah, I've set up this thing called Self-Love Club. They used to say to me, you help people masturbate. Again, that's the kind of vibration that I used to work with on the trading floor. It was all very highly sexed. It was all very highly charged in that environment. And, I was no angel. And I'm not professing to be an angel now. What I am professing to be is calling myself out on my bullshit, on my old bullshit, and recognizing that standards are required if you really choose to have a life that is exceptional, a sex life that is exceptional, a connection that is exceptional. You have to have standards. I find it interesting, and I dread to think what's going to happen to this video, but I find it very interesting that every video I post on YouTube, bearing in mind they're very much about consciousness and spirituality, I find it very interesting that there are at least 3 to 5 links to porn in the comments to all of my videos. Luckily, between me and my moderators, we managed to get rid of them very quickly. And again, that's a telltale sign that sex is inverted. Oh, get people to click on this link. Oh, get people to watch porn, to keep them in a lower vibration. I haven't looked at porn in God knows how many years. God knows how many years, because it is such a low vibration. Basically, porn is showing our children and the young adults of the world that it needs to be a particular way, and the body should look a particular way, and you need to be doing these certain things, and it needs to be a particular size, and you need to be able to do all of these things to somebody, otherwise they're frigid. And that's the kind of exposure that the internet has brought to the world. Now, the internet has done many good things, but also it's really catapulted this delusion, for want of better words, around sex. Every man thinks they've got to be, a porn star. And if the girl doesn't want to be thrown around and, everything that he wants to do done to her, then she's just boring. I have so many young adults speaking to me on this subject. So what do? We start setting our standards. We start recognizing what we want, what we choose. We recognize that we have been given, especially us girls, I'm not being derogatory to the boys here, but we've been given this vessel that can literally bring new consciousness onto the planet via our womb. Yes, we need a man to do that. However, we have a vessel that is allowing brand new consciousness to come through. Like, you are powerful, ladies. You shouldn't be giving it away willy-nilly, for want of better words. Sex is the most sacred thing. And if somebody is making you not feel good enough, or maybe they're, really bringing in some darkness where it's concerned, you've got to ask yourself why you're communicating with that person. you know, probably about a year or two ago, whenever I ended up getting pics of people's penises, I would just be like, block, 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 block. And it's very, very rare it happens now. And it was just because this guy, I met him in a bar, low vibrational environment, you know? And then on top of that, as you guys know, I am single. I stepped with caution there. But I've been doing some dating. I've been doing some online dating over the last couple of months maximum. And again, on there, it's a whole world of people that are really keen to just get you naked. Not everybody, but there's a huge portion of it. Why? Because that's been normalized. It doesn't surprise me that a lot of people, I mean, I've only ever been able to last on a dating app literally for about 24 hours before, probably not even that. Like my girls have been on and, you know, been me, if you like, on a few years ago. But other than that, like I haven't done it until now. And I just kept thinking to myself, when I kept getting all these offers of sex and hookups and blah, 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 I kept just holding it like delete, block, delete, block. There has to be some decent people out there. And I truly believe there are some decent people out there. I truly believe that I've met some decent people. They might not be my people or my person, but I do really think that there are some good people. But again, when you open yourself up to this, you're opening yourself up to darkness. You're opening yourself up to that energy. So you need to know your standards and you need to know your values before you can actually step through to meeting people. And even though everybody else thinks, well, aren't you getting on a bit now, Lucy? And aren't you, you know, shouldn't you be married by now? And blah, 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 blah. But you hold the line. And that's so prevalent for right now. We have to keep holding the line. We have to be patient. Everything is happening exactly as we need it to happen, in complete divine timing and divine alignment. And trust that every single interaction that we have, every single person that comes into our life is going to bring us some gold for us to either heal or do some work on. Bringing things into our consciousness. That's why I love people. They always bring things into your consciousness that perhaps you're unaware of. So be grateful. Set the intention, set your standards, have values. And just because some hot bit of fluff comes along, don't let those standards slip. If somebody sends you something and you do not like it, you can put a boundary in place with them and say, get stuffed, or you can just block them. Your choice. Doesn't always have to be a confrontation. Doesn't always have to be a confrontation. You might be somebody that actually, no, I want to tell this person that they've offended me. Fine, do that. Do that. But stand in your truth the other side when they attempt to make you feel guilty or that you're boring or whatever. Ladies and gents, it's really important that we speak openly on this subject with potential partners, our children. Let's normalize people really, really using, recognizing that their organs, their sexual organs, are carrying so much karmic trauma that every time we have that sexual exchange, we're literally just passing it on and passing it on. So let's keep it sacred. Let's do the work to release our trauma. Let's do the work to release the karma. And let's start really bringing sacred sex back onto the map through flirting, through messaging, through your social media. Let's really raise the roof. Let's take this to a high level of consciousness. Ladies and gents, let me know your thoughts on this video. Do remember to hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Also, do remember to subscribe to my channel. I do put content out quite regularly. So if you hit the thumb up, press the subscribe button and also hit the bell, you will be notified every time I put a new video out. Ladies and gents, mwah, I will see you in the next video. Lots of love.